Attention all nerds, geeks, fanatics, fangirls, and lovers of everything comics. The Youngstown Comic Con will return in 2023 on July 8th and 9th at the Canfield Fairgrounds.
It's a go, and I'm real excited to see that event come back and be a part of the Valley again, because I had a lot of people ask. We have people every week ask, you doing a show this year, maybe next year? And a lot of people know that it was a great draw for the Valley. It's going to happen again, so the Valley gets the chance to dress up and go geek out with some comic book stuff again, which I'm extremely happy for.
However, when the 2020 con was canceled because of the pandemic, Youngstown Comic Con founder and owner of All American Cards and Comics, Greg Bartholomew, says there was a good chance the massive event would be canceled for good.
It was just too much of a stress on my heart. I had a couple heart issues, and I told myself 2020 would be the last show. But then COVID hit, we never had a last show, and it kind of went from there that I wasn't going to run any more shows, because in the meantime I haven't had any heart problems whatsoever. So obviously it was attributed just to the stress of running that show.
But thankfully, for the sake of Bartholomew's health and the future of the con, Ward Productions stepped up to the plate to continue the event. Corey Ward is president of the promotions company, who recently purchased the rights to the Youngstown Comic Con.
A great name to have and a great event, and we look forward to continuing it, expanding on it, and with Greg's help as well. You know, Greg's obviously still staying involved with it. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend.
Ward Productions has experience putting on other large events in the area, like the Dave and Ed Super Auto events and Super Toy events in Canfield and Canton, as well as the annual Ribs and Rock Festival starting today and running through Saturday at DeBartolo Commons at the Southern Park Mall in Boardman.
National celebration of live music, great rib vendors, awesome barbecue. We have rib vendors coming from 4 different states. On Thursday, the headliners are the Clarks. Friday is Hinder, and on Saturday's Living Color. When this event is over, I have a roadmap where I'd like to go, a direction where I would like to take the show. And as soon as this event's over, then we're going to start, announcing and start planning and putting some feelers out there on what direction to go.
The Youngstown Comic Con deal came about when Ward was planning the Super Toy Show, which took place in April at the Canfield Fairgrounds.
Greg was a vendor, saw what we had done, and it just stemmed from there.
They had over 2,000 people through the door, and I just in passing, hey, would you like to maybe run a Comic-Con? And he's like, yeah, let's sit down and talk about it.
We wanted to do it. It was something that we had looked at for a while, and it was just available, so it was a property we wanted to have.
And planning for an event like the Youngstown Comic Con is no easy task. When the con first began in 2010, then known as All-Americon, about 400 guests were in attendance. In its 10th year in 2019 at the Gavelli Center, that number grew to over 5,000.
And it was basically myself and then a couple volunteers the day of the show. And then I had somebody that did some graphic work, and I had a website guy. And that was it. Everything else I handled. But you have to, secure a venue, the marketing, selling the tables, pre-sale tickets, booking a guest, getting flights ready for a guest, lining up travel for the guests, hotel rooms, lodging, food, all of that. It's a big, long process that had to start earlier and earlier every year.
Being an event promoter, you have to forward think, at least 6 months in advance. Sometimes we plan our shows a year in advance. You have to be able to dictate and understand what is going on in the economy, the region, what bands are going out, what touring schedules, what celebrity appearances. So it's something where you have to have a crystal ball and you hope you guess right. We've guessed right more times than not, but that's pretty much, an event promoter.
And the decision to move the event to the more spacious Canfield Fairgrounds was an easy one.
Relationship, number one, we do a ton of events there. Number two, and pretty much all of our stuff is there anyway, so as opposed to moving all of our equipment, trucks and everything like that, it's pretty much centrally located. Plus everybody knows the Canfield Fairgrounds.
When I was in that venue for the toy show, I'm just looking around, and there were other vendors there that had set up at our show, and I'm like, what do you think of this venue? And the first thing out of their mouth is, you should move your Comic-Con here. And I'm like, well, we're talking about it. And they're like, that would be wonderful. And for the vendors to be happy, for all the people that ask us every week on, is there a show this year? Now we can give them a concrete answer.
So make sure to mark your calendars for the 11th annual Youngstown Comic Con, coming up next year on July 8th and 9th at the Canfield Fairgrounds.
I'm sure we're going to, tweak it a little bit. Maybe some different celebrities, maybe a couple different vendors, maybe a couple different food vendors, something to where it's enhance the event. But everything pretty much for the most part would stay the same.
Anyone that is into this kind of stuff, and even if you're not in this kind of stuff, it was just a spectacle to see, and I'm glad it's going to continue.
.717 Credit Union. Business services designed to meet your daily needs. Commercial loans, business deposits, merchant and payroll services. .717 Credit Union. It's knowing you were treated right every time.